Much has been said about this kind of crisis in Nigeria, and it is unfortunate today that life no longer means anything to Nigerians. On the slightest opportunity, people rise and kill one another on very flimsy excuses. My friend Senator Hunkuyi spoke about so many things. At a point, I was at a loss as to what actually he was trying to say. I believe one of the prayers that Hunkuyi is supposed to bring on this motion, or the most important prayer, Mr. President, is that of deterrent. Where we miss the whole of these issues in Nigeria is because people can kill and get away with it. This is the truth of this matter. Sula Hunkuyi is a living witness when me and him escaped death by the whiskers some 30 years ago in one of the very first incidences in Kaduna, when me and him drove from Angorimi to his house then in Badiko. And we all know what happens. Mr. President, from that time to today, nobody has been brought to book as far as Kaduna crisis is concerned. Anytime there is problem, and here I don't mean there is one side that is just guilty. All the sides are guilty, but we all know what happened. The last time an issue came on this floor, I spoke about Zangon Kataf. And we knew what happened in Zangon Kataf, and we knew the processes that we went through, and we knew what happened eventually. Mr. President, as long as we want to stop these issues, then the issue of punishing those that are guilty must come in focus. So my thinking is, in his prayers, he would either urge the federal government or the state government to put in place a high-powered committee that will investigate the root causes of these problems and who the perpetrators are, who I believe Hunkuyi knows and so many people knows, yes, what is happening in Kaduna, with a view to punishing these people so that this ungodly act of killing people can stop. Mr. President, on the issue of curfew, I don't know. I think Kaduna State Governor needs to be pressed on this issue, Mr. President. When this issue broke out, the governor was out of this country. And contrary to what I am used to seeing in my own state, the governor flew back into Kaduna State, put a curfew, and was on site visiting people, the injured, the killed, and those that lost their properties. So I think this is a sign of good leadership, and that is what leadership is all about. When there is problem in an area you are responsible, you are supposed to show compassion, you are supposed to show concern, and you are supposed to take drastic measures that will address those issues. The issue of curfew, as bad as it is, maybe as bad as it affects people, it became very, very necessary. Because as the mover of the motion said, even with the curfew, some hoodlums still escape one way or the other and commit more crimes in the state. So what will happen if this curfew is not in place in the first place? So, Mr. President, I think by and large, what I want to advise when we come to the prayers is to investigate the root causes of these problems, and not only in Kaduna State, but all over Nigeria, especially those communities that tend to, or that always are ready to take the lives of innocent people that are passers-by, just simply because you have the opportunity of staying just by the roadside or something. You now use that as an excuse to kill people on the road, people that doesn't even know what is happening, people that doesn't know who is affected or who is not affected. So, Mr. President, I think it is time we use this opportunity, put a high-powered committee to look into this kind of issues with a view or with the intention of getting to the root causes of these problems, and if possible, recommend some kind of punishment, especially on people who take laws into their hands, and to encourage the law enforcement agencies to always descend very heavily on people that think they have the right to take life of other citizens simply because their own rights are touched by some people. Mr. President, with these few comments, I would want to once again congratulate the mover of the motion, and when we come to the prayer, Mr. President, I would want us to look beyond this NEMA assistance, because this is an issue that we all know that we have gone past it, because NEMA cannot be everywhere and cannot support everybody and cannot do everything. We need to start looking at ways and means of addressing these issues once and for all. I thank you, Mr. President.